Hi and welcome to Charlotte Talks Transformers, where we'll be taking a look at Transformers Animated Season 2, Episode 8, SUV Society of Ultimate Villainy. This episode starts off a little odd. Right away, I thought it was going to be a filler, and in some ways it kind of is, but it mostly isn't, and I will explain. It basically starts off with all our B-list villain characters getting together. First off, we see Nanosec. And you know the Autobots are chasing him around. Okay, and if we remember from the very first time we ever saw Nanosec, he turned old, and then I believe that was the last we saw of him. And so they actually bring it up in the episode. They're like, wasn't he old last time we saw him? And their answer for this was, oh, he must have used a good face cream. It's like, no. You can't just wash that away. You can't just say like, oh, he just used a good face cream and now he's like magically back to, what is he, like 26 years old or something? Maybe 30, I don't know. But they gave no explanation for it. You could tell it was an obvious plot device because they just needed all these like B-listers together. They got back the Angry Archer and this princess, okay? And me nor Ryan here could remember which episode this girl was from. She was really forgettable, I guess. I think she was from the Soundwave episode. And you know what, guys? I could look it up. I don't care to look it up. I don't. Like, who is she? She's like this Elmira sort of weird pinky princess. She reminds me of something you'd see on Powerpuff Girls. I don't remember her at all. I feel like I should know an Elmira Powerpuff Girls sort of character, and I don't. Not at all.
She was useless anyway.
Yeah, kind of. And like, she just had like this weird undefined ability to shoot like weird energy beams, but then sometimes they were also like hearts and unicorns and stuff. I don't know. I don't know who she is or what she does or how she fits into the plot in any way.
Very patronizing stuff.
Very patronizing? How? How is it patronizing?
Are you saying that that's all girls are good for? Is just flowers and rainbows?
Sugar and spice and everything nice. That's what Powerpuff Girls taught me. It's true though. Sugar and spice and everything nice. You know what that leaves, Ryan? Bad shit for you. You're terrible.
I'm okay with that.
This has turned very sexist. I'm gonna edit this out. Okay, so we have Nanosec, the Angry Archer, random princess weirdo, and then we are introduced to a fourth villain who we've never seen before, and her backstory is, I was working a 9-to-5 job and it sucked, so I decided to become a villain when like the power of an Allspark shard fell into her hands. She was just like every 9-to-5 worker ever. Ryan was even like, is that really what they think of 9-to-5 workers? I'm like, of course! Like, I'd immediately become a villain and start robbing shit, wouldn't you? I'm pretty sure most of you, if you had an Allspark shard, fall into some sort of a timepiece and it gave you the ability to like stop time, which is the power this woman has, you'd immediately become a villain. Tell me you wouldn't, man. I don't believe you if you say you wouldn't, because I would. So, weird criminal 9-to-5 timepiece lady has an additional quirk about her character, and I'm gonna get Ryan to do it for you because I can't do it very well, but it's like this sort of like 50s salesperson. Just do the voice, do the voice.
Subaru, confidence in motion. This is not a Subaru ad.
Like, she literally sounded just like, hey doll, like, how you doing today? You know, like just, and you know what? For like 2 seconds, it was like, haha, that's kind of clever. And then the whole rest of the episode is like, please stop.
It's like some Al Capone wannabe.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, it just didn't make any sense. It's like, you're clearly working in modern day Detroit. Why are you speaking like this, eh? You know, I don't, it was bad. Like, this is why I thought it was gonna be a filler, because this is all we were introduced to for the first part. Like, they established all the villains that have gotten together, and they've established that this lady has this weird, like, timepiece thing, and that she's speaking like, you know, rip off Al Capone. And I was really getting annoyed with this episode, I'm gonna admit. I was sitting there, I'm like, oh man, do we gotta spend 30 minutes with these guys? And then...
They pulled the wool out from under your eyes, see?
Hey, see? Let's never do that again. I hate that voice. It's so terrible. I mean, So, before I get into the amazing part,
Pull out some cheap Wiggum on you.
I fucking hate you, man. Let me collect myself here. It's such a bad voice. Fuck, what was I even thinking? Right, okay. So this episode was not just about the Society of Ultimate Villainy, it was also about Bumblebee. And Bumblebee, this guy is just, anytime they need someone to learn a lesson, I swear to God, Bumblebee is the go-to guy because he's always just like going off on his own and just being reckless and this and that. So this was Bumblebee learns how to be a team player. And it's like,
he's an idiot.
well, I feel like we've had like 5 episodes already where Bumblebee learns not to be a freaking idiot. And it's like,
He doesn't learn.
well, yeah, at this point it's kind of like, get on, like he should have learned some of his lessons. He should have internalized. You know who internalized these lessons? Sorry. Sorry is actually proving to be a much more valuable team member than Bumblebee is.
When a 12-year-old is the voice of reason on your team.
It's pretty bad because there was a couple moments where Bumblebee was like, oh, we're gonna go off on our own and do whatever, you know? And Sorry's like, maybe we should call for backup. And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, Sorry, you voice of reason, you. So she's really growing on me as a character, whereas Bumblebee, I think I've mentioned this in the past, I've never been a fan of Bumblebee. I don't know what it is about this character. He is, like, I think what I said last time, and this remains true even now, is that he's really designed to sell toys. He's designed for children to kind of be like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if you had a best friend like Bumblebee? And so he kind of plays that young person wish fulfillment avatar, and it doesn't appeal to me, obviously being a 30-year-old woman. Like, I guess I'm just not the target audience, which is fine. It's fine. I just don't personally like Bumblebee. So, completely leaving aside my Bumblebee tangent, this episode was starting to grate on me a little bit, and then all of the Society of Ultimate Villainy get into a randomly placed SUV, which is where, like, Nanosec was all like, hey, SUV, like, Society of Ultimate Villainy, yeah, that's how we get our name, and I'm pretty sure the Society only lasts this 1 episode, so probably don't bother remembering that.
About
but
5 minutes.
Yeah, about 5 minutes. Well, no, they actually stayed a team right up until the end. Like,
About 5 minutes.
about 5 minutes. But, so they get into this randomly placed SUV, and the SUV starts talking to them and is all like, hey, I can get you out of this jam. And they're all like, okay, random talking SUV, get us out of this jam. And I'm like, question this, man. Like, if I got into a car and it started being like, hey, you want to do a favor for me? I'd be like, ah! Like, no! The SUV's plan is basically to go and get, like, random satellite, random this part, random that part, and get them all together on top of a building. And then he transforms, and okay, I had no idea who he was. I completely forgot. I was sitting there, I'm like, this guy's obviously a Decepticon. He's obviously evil. Who is this guy? Like, I've seen this show before, and I could not remember it at all, and then he transformed, and I was like, Swindle! Like, yeah, man, Swindle is back! I mean, he was never there to be back, but anyways, he's in. So I was super excited, and then he calls up Megatron, and he's like, Megatron, I've got a good deal for you on some weapons. I got your phone number from this, like, mutual bounty hunter weapons dealer we know, wink wink, and it's like obviously locked down. So Megatron's all like, all right, show me what you got, kind of. So they use the Allspark shard from this Slow-Mo chick. I think I probably actually didn't mention her name is Slow-Mo, the Al Capone ripoff chick. But her clock, which stops time, has an Allspark device, or an Allspark shard in it. So, Swindle. So Swindle goes and uses this Allspark shard to go and power this, like, time slowing down machine. And he goes and slows down a bunch of stuff in a demonstration for Megatron. And Megatron's all like, I might be interested. And then from there, it just kind of proceeds into, like, a bit of a battle, and, like, kind of nothing special happens. Like, all the Autobots get together, and then Bumblebee is still kind of alone with Sorry, and everything gets frozen except for Sorry. And then she realizes that Sumdac Towers has a sort of force field around it. So in some, like, kind of mumbo jumbo, honestly, because you really, really have to suspend your disbelief in this show because a lot of really stupid shit happens. But basically, they take the force field, but only part of it, and she encases Bumblebee specifically in the force field. So now Bumblebee is force fielded. I don't know how she accomplishes this. Like, they just literally just point something at Bumblebee and then he gains a force field.
The weird part is, the Society of Ultimate Villains teams up with Bumblebee as well to defeat Swindle.
That's right, because as I mentioned before, Swindle's like, I've got a good deal for you, obviously means he's going to betray them. Indeed, he does betray them. And then, okay, the Society of Ultimate Villainy does the doublest double cross, like the fastest double cross I've ever seen in a 24-minute episode. Basically, Swindle double crosses them. So they're all like, well, we're going to team up with you Autobot fellows. And the second the Autobots win, they team back up with Swindle. And it's like, what? This guy just betrayed you guys. No one's making good decisions. Everyone's making poor decisions.
Well, they just kind of wanted Slow-Mo's time device back.
That's true, but it's still like reeked of poor decision making because I remember I was watching it and I'm like, did they seriously just get back in the SUV? Predictably, everyone goes to jail. And then they have this weird part where they, like, Captain Fanzone has Swindle and he's all like, oh yeah, we're gonna break him down for parts and sell him off to the highest bidder. And the Autobots don't say anything, but that's murder. Like, as Cybertronians can't really survive being torn into tiny bits like that, I'm assuming his spark would be all snuffed out when this is happening. So that's murder, and no one should stand for that. That's terrible. I don't care if it is Swindle. That's cold, man. But I'm assuming because I remember Swindle from other episodes, he does not in fact die and get sold to the highest bidder for parts. But they kind of left it up in the air. Like, we don't really know what happened to Swindle. But kind of the best part, okay, the Society of Ultimate Villainy goes to jail, Swindle gets captured, but the strangest part is they never wrap up the video with Megatron. That's something I was thinking about at the very end. Like, is Megatron still on the line when all this battle and defeat is going on? Because he was on the line for the weapons demonstration. And then he never gets shown being off the line. So I'm like, did he just witness that entire ass whooping? Like, it would have been great if, like, after the credits, it's just Megatron on the line, like, hello? Like, Swindle is still there? Like, did he hang up? I don't know. Like, clearly you're probably not meant to think too much about this, but I think about these things a lot. I'm just like, Megatron's probably still on the line to this day. He's probably just like, am I ever gonna get that weapon? But yeah, that was the episode. It was, I wouldn't say it was good, but I wouldn't say it was bad either. Like, it was not as atrocious as some episodes we've seen, but neither was it particularly plot advancing. It really only served to introduce the character of Swindle. And you kind of didn't need an entire episode to do that. You could have introduced Swindle, I don't know, in a different context than this. Like, there was really no need to get together all these B-list villains. Like, I don't know if anyone was clamoring to see the Angry Archer again, or to see, you know, Weird Princess, or any of this. So I'm just kind of confused as to why they brought them back. But I do know that Transformers Animate seems to like using entire episodes to just introduce one person, and I guess it's just a way of, like, filling a season. But the seasons are only 12 episodes, so it's like, get on with it, man. You can shove way more content into these seasons than you're currently doing. But that's just a bit of a nitpick. So, you know, this episode was good. Ultimately, you could probably skip it. Just know that Swindle does appear. Other than that, I don't really have anything more to say. So until next time, please leave a comment, subscribe. Would love to hear from you, and goodbye. I fucking hate you.